I'm talking about the challenges, then effective classroom management does not happen automatically. Even if the students' attitude, their behavior, and the teachers' strategies they are in place, the most important influence in the classroom environment is that how does the teacher manages in the class, and it is actually the most important thing. And if the classroom is not properly managed, then it elevates your stress level, and it happens with me actually. That it and I'm not feeling well, feeling calm if the classroom is distracted. The goal is to make my student self-discipline, and I wish to teach my students effectively, and I want to give them meaningful learning to my students. And for this I follow the 3F strategy, that is actually friendly, fair, and firm. But I consider that I'm not very firm. Teacher, when I enter the class, students rush towards me. They are telling me their stories about their homework and giving their feedback about their activities, which is actually quite gracious that his students are actually sharing, and they are not resisting. And I usually take feedback in the warm-up sessions. I build a positive relationship with my students through communication. I promote class discussions in my class. But what happened that I don't like distraction in my class. When I'm going to demonstrate something, and I'm going to tell something that I want that all the students to listen, and if it is not happening that, and I fail to attaining the goals, then I get frustrated. And I always encourage the students to have their who have the academic problems, and I actually solve their problems. But it happens actually that my blood start boiling, and you know that if I'm saying to you, then you have to follow these things. If it is not happening, thing, then what happened that I used to yell or scream in the class, and it is a big challenge for me. Actually, to control my anger is also a big challenge for me, and to control the class is also a big challenge for me. So I'm working with these two things in my class now. That when I start, when I actually feel that I'm going to yell, then how to control it. And after doing PG sir, then I get to know that yelling or screaming is actually a very bad way to manage the classroom. Although what happened that when I yell in the class, then the students actually calm down, and they but when I study about the disadvantages, then I get to know that they are actually that they calm down, they are actually scared. And it actually affect the relationship between me and my students. So I am trying to actually not doing this thing, not yelling at this thing. And actually, you know that yelling also not only it actually affect the relationship, it also affect my health also. Because for example, if I'm going frustrated in the frustrated mood, I'm going in my home, then my family will get also frustrated because I will take out my frustration in my family. These things are actually interconnected with each other, and once I analyze the problem, then I have to actually work on the self-punishment. And the researchers has also proven that yelling actually it is a tool that actually weakens the students and teacher relationship. And that I consider that I'm the role model of the class. I am the role model, but what happened that I am actually showing them a terrible role model. Dr. Lara actually she tell that if you are yelling in the class, then it produces a similar result as that of the physical punishment, and it actually provoke a fear. And um, and I was actually very scared that I want that my students take a good teaching journey, learning journey. So it is actually a biggest challenge for me to control my anger, and to manage the distraction in the class, and to train my students that how to uh, uh, you know um, stay in the class, and what are the rules and regulations. And I have find out that my rules are actually not well defined. I actually I actually tell my rules and what are my expectations in the class in the start of the session. But what happened that I don't know that I have to repeat it again and again. But I get to after doing PG cert, I know that it is actually happening with every teacher, that every teacher is actually repeating their sentences again, repeating the rules again and again, and reinforcing the students and telling them again and again what are the rules and reminding them. Another important thing which I have learned, that actually I have to use the polite language. Yes, I have to use the polite language in the class, but more importantly that I should tell my students that what are my expectations, instead of telling them that I don't want to any noise in the class, otherwise I'm not going to teach you. No, I should not say this thing to my students, right? Instead of this, I should say that my expectations are this from you. And when I have applied these things, and it will, I have found I was really astonished because I have found a magical result. And students are actually, they are giving me better response if I'm telling these things to my students. So that's all, and it's an ongoing journey, and I'm actually in the process to control my anger, to control my students. Okay, thank you.